Another beautiful day in Toronto here at the Rogers Center, ready for baseball as the Blue Jays have taken the field. When they come to bat, they'll be facing Corey Kluber. For more on that, let's go downstairs to Andre Knott.
Well, after 19 innings on Friday and after a bullpen game yesterday, Corey Kluber will have to look for the same magic he had in the month of June in this start. In June, he had 4 starts where he went 6+ innings, and he had 2 complete games. There's no pressure on him from Terry Francona, but they said if they can get another game like they got in June, they'll appreciate it more than anybody will know. Most likely Tommy Hunter and Dan Otero both out in today's contest, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Andre. And obviously, Rick, when you've gone through what they've gone through, Corey Kluber knows he wants to get deep in this ball game, and we'll see if he's able to accomplish that against a very good hitting Toronto lineup. Here's the Indians starting line under manager Terry Francona, brought to you by Progressive. Rajai Davis leading it off after becoming just the 8th Indian in franchise history to hit for the cycle yesterday. Jason Kipnis was not in the original starting lineup, but he went in there once Juan Uribe was scratched with that sore finger. Francisco Lindor hitting third. Then it's Napoli, Santana, and Jose Ramirez in at third base. Yan Gomes, Abraham Almonte reinstated from the suspension list, and Lonnie Chisenhall batting ninth.
And our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, Jay Happ, making his 17th start this year. Jay Happ was 4-1 in the month of June. He lost his first start, won the last 4. In his last start, he went 5 innings. He gave up 5 runs and won for only the 3rd time in his career when allowing 5. But they average him 6.1 runs per ball game. So that is one reason why he is 10-3. His ERA is 3.70 on the season.
And so we are ready to go. And the first pitch of the afternoon is a called strike to Rajai Davis. He's had a terrific series, including that cycle. He's gone 6 for 15 with 2 home runs against his old club. Smacks that pitch to short, backhanded by Tulowitzki, and that off-balance throw is on the money. 1 down.
Let's set that Jays defense for you behind Happ this afternoon. It looks like this. It'll be Saunders in left field. Carrera is in center. Lake gets the start in right. Donaldson at third. Tulowitzki at short. Barney is at second. Smoke at first with Martin behind the plate.
John Hirschbeck, the veteran crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Bill Welke at first. Vic Carapazza at second. DJ Rayburn down at third. And that's down low, ball 1 to Jason Kipnis, who, as I mentioned, was not in the original starting 9. He was scheduled to get the day off, but that went out the window once Juan Uribe couldn't quite make the throws he needed to make. That index finger on his throwing hand was hit by a pitch yesterday. And it's just having trouble getting a good grip on the ball to make the throws that he needs to make. Uribe was out on the field at around 11 a.m. this morning, trying to see if he could give it a go, but after they took a look at him, they decided to hold him out of the lineup. 3 balls and a strike for Kipnis. Sometimes the guy's not expected to play and he ends up playing and having a big day, so maybe that'll be the case for Kipnis.
Well, that's true. That certainly does happen a lot.
Fouled off in a full count.
Well, you know, that's the effects of that 19-inning game. You knew you were going to see some, and then yesterday with Uribe getting hit, they only had 2 guys on the bench. So hopefully they can get healthy quick here, win this last ball game, and have a terrific road trip.
And the 3-2 to Kipnis is line to right field on a base hit and more. It'll go to the wall. Junior Lake plays it, and Jason Kipnis is into second with a 1-out double.
Well, that was a nice swing by Kip. He got himself a heater and he turned on it. It's a fastball inside, about belt high, on the inner part of the plate, and a nice short swing. Hits it to the wall. Kip gets his 14th double. They'll have an opportunity to score here in the first.
Rick, given the Indians in recent years trouble against left-handed starters, they beat Jay Happ twice last year. Is there anything that you see that they match up well with against him?
Well, he's not overpowering a left-hander. He has a just pretty straight fastball, curveball, changeup. And the approach you want to take will be like a Cole Hamels. You know, maybe stay on him and take him the other way and just react to the pitch inside. About 64% of his strikeouts come off the fastball, so you just react.
Only 2 left-handed bats in the lineup today, with Kipnis in the 2-hole and Lonnie Chisenhall batting 9th. Indians do have 4 switch hitters in that lineup today, including Francisco Lindor, who was 3 for 14 in the series. And even Lindor was supposed to have yesterday off, but he was forced into action when the injury occurred to Uribe and they had to reshuffle things. Missed in off the plate, 2-1. The Indians have won 23 out of 30. They lead the Royals by 6 games in the Central Division with a record of 49 and 31.
Yeah, everybody else in the Central won yesterday.
Toronto is 44 and 39. They sit 4.5 games back of Baltimore in the East. They're in 3rd place, just a half game back of Boston, who was thoroughly trounced at home yesterday by the Angels. 21 runs they gave up.
Wow. 3 touchdowns and extra points.
Lindor fouls it off and a full count.
Yeah, and Minnesota in their own right scored 17 against Texas. So a couple of teams having big days offensively.
The 3-2 to Lindor. Strike 3 called.
There's the heater. Came back with that fastball and locked him up. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. Let's check it out on our Nissan pitch tracker. Fastball right there. I mean, it doesn't get any more. Split the middle of the plate. So Happ gets his first strikeout.
And that brings up Mike Napoli. Napoli's gone 3 for 17 in the series. A couple of doubles. Second on the team with 16 home runs. Napoli leads the team with 53 runs batted in. And almost half of those have come with 2 outs. Two and 0. He hits one high in the air to left, but got it off the end of the bat. And Michael Saunders will make the catch. No runs ahead, a man left. The Blue Jays are coming to bat. The Toronto Blue Jays starting lineup for manager John Gibbons today, featuring Ezekiel Carrera in the leadoff spot. Josh Donaldson, who has homered twice in the series. Then Edwin Encarnacion, Michael Saunders, Russell Martin, and Troy Tulowitzki. Justin Smoke. Junior Lake gets his first start in the series, and Darwin Barney batting ninth.
On to starting pitch is going to be Corey Kluber. Kluber also 4-1 in the month of June. Had a .219 earned run average, coming off a start in Atlanta where he went 8 innings, gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, did get the win in that ball game.
And Ezekiel Carrera getting after the first pitch, fouls it back.
Well, I think most teams know the MO for Kluber right now. You try and attack him early. Look for that first fastball. If you get it, try and put it in play.
He hits it high in the air, right field line.
Kipnis lost it.
But Chisenhall's there to save the day.
There you go. You need some help from your outfielders. I could tell Kipnis didn't know. He had his arms out saying, I don't see it. He needs some help, and you know, with that roof open, there it is. I can't see it. I can't see it. He gets help, and he finally picked it up. Once he realized that Chisenhall had a beat on it, he looked back up and saw it. But there you go, outfielders. You got to help your infielders out today.
Good teamwork right there. One down for Josh Donaldson. Fastball strike over the outside corner. Donaldson 3 for 14 in the series, but 2 of those 3 hits for home runs. The Indians held the Blue Jays to just 2 runs in the first 28 innings of the series before they got a first inning 3-run homer yesterday from Edwin Encarnacion. Grounded toward third in the hole. And on a 1-2 pitch, Josh Donaldson gets the Blue Jays their first hit.
Let's set the Indians defense, brought to you by Jeep. It's Davis, Almonte, and Chisenhall in the outfield. It'll be Ramirez at third, Lindor at short, Kipnis at second, Santana at first, with Gomes doing the catching.
Our game time temperature today, 68 degrees. Under mostly sunny skies, a few clouds popping in and out. Here is Encarnacion. Most of the everyday or regular players in this series have already accumulated double figures in at-bats, but Encarnacion just 2 for 9 because he got ejected in the first inning of the 19-inning marathon in Game 2 of the series. This was in the first inning yesterday with 2 aboard.
A 3-run homer as they answered the Indians, left them a fastball out over the plate. That was after the ejection the day before in the very first inning.
Well, it's 22 home runs for Encarnacion, 1 off the league lead. Todd Frazier, Mark Trumbo with 23. 2-1. Encarnacion has really developed a patient approach at the plate.
Nice pick.
Great backhanded pick by Gomes.
Yes, it was. Well, when you hit him as far as Encarnacion hits him, you know, you get a lot of respect. That's a fastball that he short hops Gomes with. And now that Bautista's not in that lineup, you know, he's got to be a little more careful, a little more patient, I guess, when you get runners in scoring position.
Bounced foul, third base side. I guess maybe, Rick, there's a difference between patience and just having a good eye. I think Encarnacion is just, he's not swinging at bad balls.
Yeah, you're right. You used to be able to get him to chase breaking balls away, but you know, when you see enough of them, you get used to it and you make adjustments. He's turned himself into a very good hitter. And a very dangerous one.
Donaldson drawing a throw. He has 6 steals on the year. He's not been caught yet this season. But the way Toronto swings the bat, they don't run much. And the payoff pitch is hit in the air. Left field. Back goes Rajai Davis on the track at the wall, and he makes the catch. Up against the wall. The long throw back to first will not be in time. And there are 2 down. Boy, Rajai tracked that ball. It looked initially like it was going to be a routine fly ball, but it just kept carrying.
It sure did. Take a look at it on our ATT high-speed replay. He gets right back to the wall and catches it right before he goes into the wall. Boy, he did not miss that by much. Nice play by Davis to get back there. You can see he goes into the shade from the roof up top and catches it, gets it back into play, and that's out number 2. Oh, so close.
Now Michael Saunders. Saunders in the series 3 for 15 with 9 strikeouts. Pulls that foul. Now the 0-1. Down and in. Shift on. Kipnis out on the turf in right field. He goes the other way, and it's a fair ball. Into the corner, Davis digs it out well. His throw to second base is not nearly in time. Donaldson stopping at third. And the Blue Jays have something going with 2 outs now.
Well, he did this yesterday in yesterday's ball game. Saunders did. When he gets the ball away, he just shoots it that way. He doesn't try to pull it. And that's the pitch that he loves. You see him just slice it the other way down the line, almost identical to his double yesterday late in the game. Davis gets to it quickly, and now they have something brewing with 2 outs, second and third.
And it brings up Russell Martin. The Blue Jays catcher is 2 for 12 in the series, and he has struck out 7 times. Down on the dirt, ball 1. At the knees for a strike. The Indians pitching staff has been fantastic during the 14-game win streak. A collective earned run average of 158. A little bit low. To center field. Hit a long way. Abraham Almonte watching it go. Second day in a row, the Blue Jays get a 3-run homer in the first.
Well, for Martin, that is his 7th home run. He picked a pitch away and took it to straightaway center field. Let's see what it is. Looked like it was a hanging cutter. I mean, it just stayed right there. It didn't really cut. And it was at 90, and he threw a couple of good 94-mile-an-hour fastballs, but he hits that one straight away center field. It's a 3-pointer, and Toronto will play from in front today.
And another base hit to right field by Tulowitzki. 4 hits in the first for Toronto. Keys to the game brought to you by Wayside Furniture. We've already seen the approach by the Indians hitters, and for Corey Kluber, he wants to try and get himself deep into the ball game, but not exactly the kind of start he was hoping for. He already made 20 pitches, and Justin Smoke is the 7th man to bat in the inning. Down low, ball 1. After the Indians completely handcuffed Toronto hitters in the first 2 games of the series, that 3-run homer in the first yesterday seemed to give Toronto a bit of their swagger back offensively. They swung the bats well all day.
Well, they come out and another 3 runs in the first here.
Yeah, and from an unlikely source, because Martin had done nothing in the series up to this point.
You're absolutely right. They were able to control him.
Rio pitch in for a strike. Pulls that foul. Runner goes, strike 3 called. The inning is over. Kluber gets his first strikeout, but Russell Martin gets the first big hit of the afternoon. A 2-out, 3-run homer, and the Blue Jays jump out to the early lead. inning. And leading off, Carlos Santana. Looks at ball one. Santana's had a good series, 5 for 15 with 2 home runs. Ground ball to short to Lewitzki. Throws him out. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Michael Brantley was moved to the 60-day disabled list. That basically is a paper move. He's still eligible to come off, I believe it's July the 9th. And you see Roberto Perez continuing his rehab from that fractured right thumb. The move for Brantley was a move to get Abraham Almonte onto the roster for today's game. Jose Ramirez has gone 6 for 17 in the series. There's Almonte, batting 8th this afternoon. Now the 1-2 to Ramirez. Struck him out.
Back to that fastball again. Both 2 strikeouts, both coming on fastballs.
Let's go down to Andre with more news on what's going on today.
Well, with the Michael Brantley thing, as you said, it's a paper thing. But talking to Terry Francona before the game, we will know more about his situation when we get home in the next 2 or 3 days. He's been taking some swings off the tee. He could start some BP this week as well, so that could be positive for us. With Juan Uribe, it's that fingernail is popping up on that index finger. They hope to know more in the next day or two. As you said, around 11 o'clock he was out here throwing. Just couldn't make the long throws, but they think he's going to be fine and it won't be a DL situation.
Jay Happ breezes through the second inning, 3-0 Toronto.
Indiana's baseball is live with the MLB.com at-bat app. You can stay connected all season with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
Corey Kluber to face Junior Lake here in the second inning. His first start in the series. He takes ball 1. Came on as a pinch runner in that 19-inning ball game. Couple of plate appearances. Takes a strike 2, even the count.
Yeah, he's in the outfield today. He played first base in that game with Pilar getting the day off for Toronto.
Pulls that foul. Canada celebrated their independence on Friday. So they're wrapping up their holiday weekend. We'll come home tomorrow and celebrate America's independence with a 4th of July game against Detroit, and it is sold out. We'll have a packed house for the Indians and Tigers, and if you don't have a ticket, we'll have it for you right here on Sports Time Ohio. Our coverage tomorrow night begins at 6:30 with the first pitch shortly after 7. Now the 1-2. Broke his bat. And it eats up Ramirez. And Junior Lake is aboard. Once that ball hit the ground, he knew it was going to take some kind of a funny bounce.
Yeah, watch him as he come in. That really had some spin to it, and he just couldn't get in there enough, and it had spin his right because it broke his bat. Had 2 strikes, and that's I would imagine they're going to give him a hit on that ball.
You know, Arch, after both of you guys, after being here for 4 days, how different do you think this field plays? And talking to some of the players, with having the infield, it plays faster, but have you guys noticed a difference in some of the bounces off the infield?
Well, that one was weird. I don't know. That one was in the dirt. It's hard to tell from up here, Andre. We sit very high here compared to when it was turf last year.
Well, I know it played fast with the turf, but I know a lot of guys said off the turf to the dirt, the spins have been not tricky, but they've been a little different. They're not true, I guess is the word I would use.
You know what? The dirt, they're unsure of how much water to put on this dirt, we were told.
Darwin Barney checks on a ball that's close, but called a little too high, 1-1. When they had the old AstroTurf, it was a dangerous situation for the outfielders, because if you charge too hard, it would kangaroo hop over your head. You don't get quite those big bounces anymore. But this seems that this new edition of field turf seems to have a little longer shag to it.
And there were seams here before too, when they were playing football. Here.
Well, you had the cutouts and. Two-one pitch, runner goes, swing and a foul back.
Trying to be aggressive now. They have the early lead. They're going to try and keep pushing the ticket here, especially down at the bottom part of the lineup. They already have 5 hits in this ball game. 4 of them are off the bats of right-handed hitters, and Kluber on the year righties were only hitting .206 coming into this ball game.
Throw down at first, nice stab by Santana. That one was offline. And a full count. Darwin Barney, 5 out of 14 in the series. Runner goes, and it's low, ball 4. So 2 on, nobody out, and Ezekiel Carrera coming to the plate, and out to the mound goes Yan Gomes. You can tell Corey Kluber's searching for it here in the early going, and already down 3 runs as we turn it over to the top of the order. Indians infield talking to each other and anticipating a potential bunt play here from Carrera.
Well, if anybody will lay one down, this guy will. He bunted for a base hit yesterday. But, you know, he can handle a bat, too. They don't have to bunt here in this situation. It's still really early into this game. And right now, Kluber is struggling. They're 5 for 8 the first time through the lineup.
Santana squeezing in at first, and he takes ball 1 as he was showing bunt. It is early in the game, but put yourself in John Gibbons' shoes for a second. You know, you're facing Corey Kluber, who can dominate a lineup. He's thinking, well, we got to scratch out every run we can probably early.
Right. Add on. You're right. I agree. And you would be. When you have Donaldson and Encarnacion up next, you would love to get those guys an opportunity. And he's just taking it.
That looked like a pretty good pitch, but it's 2-0.
Carrera, a guy that's walked a number of times in this series already.
He's got 6 walks, even though he's only 1 for 13.
That one was a bunt base hit infield yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about there. You know, you could think you're going to bunt and he's going to get a fastball. And he took a swing at it there.
Corner infielders still think he's liable to lay one down. They're in. And if he squares, they'll come flying in. He bunts it back to the mound. Kluber's only play at first. And a nice play by Kipnis to get him. Boy, Jason had to reach around the runner and snare that ball. Otherwise, that could have been a disaster. 1 away, runners at second and third on the sacrifice.
Yeah, Kipnis made that play. Boy, oh boy, that would have been easy to go throw down the line. He throws it into the runner. Look at it. It goes past over his head. And Kipnis was able to catch it. I'll bet he didn't even see the ball go in his glove. Because Carrera, right there, he put his head down, and Kipnis, I think he was lucky to hold on to that one. Good play, but the runners move up. And now Callaway's going to go out and have a talk with him. Infield will come in.
Well, you've got Josh Donaldson, then Encarnacion. It's not like you really want to walk Donaldson and load him up for the big guy, but
got to try and get a ground ball, get a double play. He got ahead of Donaldson in his first at bat, but he didn't make it. He hung him a breaking ball and he got the base hit.
So you're saying you would walk him and go for the double play?
No, I would go at Donaldson, but he's going to have to pitch him inside and not let him extend his arms. At least make him conscious of it so you can try and get that ground ball double play. And then if you walk him, then then you still have that double play in order.
They are going to walk him.
Okay.
I guess if you look at it like this, if you don't walk him, then you've got to face both of them. If you walk him, then you've only got to face one, even though there's nowhere to put Encarnacion, and he can certainly do a lot of damage and almost hit one out of here his first time up.
Well, yeah, you're ending up pitching to the guy that is leading the league in RBIs is what you're doing. And Encarnacion is 2 for 11 in his career against Corey Kluber, where Donaldson is 4 for 12.
I've just been told they changed the Junior Lake hit to an error on Ramirez.
Okay. The way scoring's been this weekend surprises me.
Edwin Encarnacion has been suspended for a game due to his actions on the game here Friday afternoon when he bumped the umpire and really threw quite a tantrum. But he has chosen to appeal that suspension, which is why he's eligible to play here this afternoon. So the bases are loaded and 1 out, and the Indians are looking to get a ball on the ground in turn 2. Encarnacion has only hit in the 10 double plays this year. He's 2 behind Jose Bautista for the team lead in that category, so it can happen. More importantly, Corey Kluber is already at 45 pitches with one out and the bags juiced here in the second. And a strike to the outside corner. He swung and missed. 0-2. There's one of the rare instances in this series where we have seen him, I think, chase a pitch that was clearly out of the strike zone.
Well, he wants to do damage here. He sees 3 ducks out there. He wants to get them home. So you got to prey on that aggressiveness. See if he comes back with another good slider.
Got him. Oh, what a pitch by Corey Kluber. It's his second strikeout, and boy, did he need it there.
Yes, he did. He had to go for the punch out. And he reached into the bag of tricks and came out with a couple of good sliders. Let's check out the sequence here to Encarnacion. There it is, a little cutter away, and then he's going to expand it. A better slider, and then stayed with the slider and got him to swing it 2 out of the strike zone. So he didn't mess around and got 3 pitches, and now a chance to get out of the inning.
Michael Saunders shot him the other way for a double in the first inning. And he went down and in, and he swung right over the top of it. It is amazing when you get runners on base how a lot of hitters, the patience, it goes right out the window. I'll bet if there's nobody on base, he probably takes that pitch.
Yeah, you just stay right there. He served him up one in the first inning away. And that's where Saunders likes the ball. He comes over, swings over 2. He's looking back. Those strikes? Hirschbeck says no, but they are because you swung.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, the 0-2. Went right back in there. This time Saunders lays off. Struck him out. Oh, what a job by Corey Kluber as he gets himself out of boiling hot water in the second. The Blue Jays leave him loaded.
Not in Little League, not in Senior League, not in Babe Ruth, not in my entire life until now. The show, the big leagues. This is nice.
He is an absolute beauty. That's our Hear Right sounds of the game. Rajay Davis, who hit for the cycle yesterday, just the 8th Indians player in franchise history to accomplish the feat, first since Hafner in 03. And he is due up third this inning. Here is Abraham Almonte leading off and taking a called strike. Almonte reinstated from baseball's restricted list after he tested positive for steroids at the beginning of spring training back on February the 26th. Hit with an 80-game suspension. Last year in 51 games with the Indians, he hit .264 with 5 homers, 20 runs batted in. He had 9 doubles, 5 triples, and he stole 6 bases. And he had one of the better debuts I've ever seen when he came over to the Tribe. His first game was against Minnesota, and he went 4 for 5 in that game. He's out looking. One down here in the third. Our great clip of the game from yesterday. Show you all 4 hits. It was a reverse cycle. He started with the homer, then had the triple, a double, and then his last time up, he dumped one in the 9th for a single.
Yeah, he worked his way around the horn the opposite way, getting the tough ones out of the way.
And it was a nice, very nice, respectful ovation from the Blue Jays crowd who cheered him when he wore the Toronto uniform at one time in his career. Lonnie Chisenhall takes it, a strike. 0-2. Jay Happ is carving him up here at the outset. And he strikes him out. That's 4 Ks, first time through the order.
It's the first one coming on a breaking ball. The other 3 have been fastballs.
Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. Andre Thornton hit for the cycle in 1978. It would be 25 years until somebody did it again. That was Hafner in 03.
I'm amazed that there's only been 1 hit in Cleveland, and that was the second one, the second cycle ever hit. All the rest have come on the road. 7 of them, 7 times.
Mike Pachta said the only other cycle that was hit in Cleveland was by a visiting player. That was in the 40s. So we're not very cycle friendly in Cleveland. Now the 0-2 to Davis, way outside. The 1-2. Punched it foul. Jay Happ strikes out the side in the third. And it's 3-0 Toronto. this Sunday afternoon. We remind you to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Russell Martin will lead off the bottom of the third. He did the damage in the first with a 3-run homer.
Yeah, he had a cutter at his middle of the plate that really didn't cut, and he took advantage of it. Take a look at it. This ball just stayed right there. Same plane that he threw it. And straight away center field. 3-run home run. Second straight day that Toronto had a 3-run homer in the first.
A ball and 2 strikes. Two and 2 the count. Lindor charges, flips it across. Santana stretches to grab it. 1 away. Arcia in the driver's seat today. On this road trip, the Indians have doubled up their opponents in the run scoring column. Hopefully they can find some offense at some point today. Down 3, and Jay Happ has completely shut them down so far. Troy Tulowitzki, a base hit his first time up. They were absolutely lined up all around the ballpark getting in here this afternoon for the Troy Tulowitzki bobblehead giveaway.
Yeah, starting early this morning. You're right.
They've had big crowds for every game in the series, and today is no exception on this holiday weekend. There's a strike called. 1 and 2. They got their bobblehead.
Yep.
By the looks of the numbers of people that were lined up around the ballpark, they didn't have enough for everyone, but they must have had a bunch to give away.
It seemed like it because it was around the whole building when we circled it to come in today.
Looked like the opening of Harry Potter World at Universal Studios. Popped up, foul ground. Santana, long run. Can he get there? Nope.
Good effort. Very good effort. That'll be no play. Had to go a long way back to the infield. You're looking up. It's sunny. It's bright. And it comes up about a foot short. Time to send out a happy birthday to Nellie Babchek, who is turning 92 in Eastlake. Nellie, happy birthday and congratulations to Bab and Bill Gardner, celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary in Chagrin Falls.
Hit hard to short. It gets by Lindor and Tulowitzki is aboard. Blue Jays have had a base runner in every inning.
He hit this ball hard. Lindor was maybe upset he couldn't get there, but that ball was hit pretty hard. He had 2 steps and that ball was by him. So Tulowitzki now 2 for 2.
And Justin Smoke, the batter, out on strikes his first time up. Boy, Kluber needs a double play ball.
Yeah, normally when he's out there and he's pitching to contact, he has some innings that are 9 or 10 pitch innings. And after the way he started today, he can use a couple of them if he wants to go deep into this ball game.
He's already over 65 pitches.
Yes, indeed.
The 3-0 is popped up. Ramirez calls for it, makes the catch. And Smoke is out number 2 on a 3-0 pitch. He pops it straight up. That's a break for Corey there. And Junior Lake with 2 down. The batter reached on an error his first time up. Swung over the top. It's 0-1. Couldn't help himself. And Kluber quickly ahead.
Well,
with 2 strikes.
Don't feel like the Lone Ranger when that slider and cutter are working for Kluber. Right-handers, it's a tough at bat.
And the 0-2 is just a bit off the plate. Breaking ball is fouled off. And the dirt evens the count at 2-2. No, he wouldn't chase.
Well, he swung at it earlier in the at-bat with that check swing, and he made the adjustment there. He was able to lay off that one. And he walked him. Adam down 0-2, and instead of really trying to challenge him at all, couldn't get him to chase and ends up walking him to keep the inning alive. Well, pregame in the district on Friday. That'll be July 8th. The Tribe will take on the New York Yankees from 5 to 7 out in the district in right field. Enjoy $2 Miller Lite cans plus dollar dogs all game long. Just go to Indians.com and get your tickets. This will be the 75th pitch already for Kluber now.
with Darwin Barney at the plate. He walked his only time up. Out of play. Even though one was intentional, Kluber's already walked 3, which equals his season high. Did that twice, and both times he took the loss back in May.
That cutter, he can't control it today. He's having a tough time. Missing off the dish with it.
And a foul right back, 2-2. Tigers and Rays, they're scoreless in the 4th inning in Detroit, or down in Tampa rather. And a foul right back.
Uncharacteristic for Kluber. If he can get this out on this pitch, he'd be giving you 3 innings with 80 pitches. And this is the 2nd time they've been through the lineup today. We are in the bottom of the 3rd.
Another foul back. Low, full count. The runners, Tulowitzki at second, Lake at first. They'll be off on this 3-2 pitch. And there they go. Strike 3 called. The inning is over. 4th strikeout for Kluber, but it has been a struggle so far today. 3-0 Toronto. with the Blue Jays on top 3-0. All three came in the first.
See if the Indians can do anything the second time through now with Happ.
Well, Kipnis has their only hit. It was a one-out double in the first. J. Happ has shown no ill effects from having the long wait in between innings. 25 out of 37 pitches have been for strikes. Bounce to first and an easy play for Smoke. One down.
When you look at Happ and his 5 strikeouts that he hasn't walked anybody. 4 of them are going to come on the fastball. We told you like 64% of his strikeouts are fastballs. Today it's 80%. That was the only breaking ball right there.
Now Francisco Lindor takes in the dirt, ball 1. J. Happ was originally traded by Toronto to Seattle to get Michael Saunders. And then 2 years later, as a free agent, he signed a 3-year deal with the Blue Jays. It has to be somewhat rare to be teammates with the guy that you were traded for.
I know. Hey, we got traded for each other. Yes, I know. And in that time, Saunders had some knee issues and missed some time here in Toronto. But a Canadian-born player. Trying to come back from a 3-0 count here.
That is strikeout number 6.
Just came right back with a fastball away. Outside corner. Looks like Lindor just tried to foul that pitch off and came up empty. Out number 2, strikeout number 6 for Happ.
James Anthony Happ. He goes by J. He does not like to be called J.A. And someone said, well, why don't you just use the letters J-A-Y? And he said, I don't like the spelling J-A-Y.
Well, okay, Jay.
There's a ground ball foul, third base side. So what really bothers him is if somebody calls him AJ, which I don't know why they would, but
get it mixed up. You better lighten up.
Lighten up, Francis. The 1-1 to Napoli. Threw it by him.
Well, they're going to start calling him J.A. if he doesn't give up any more hits. He's been on cruise control so far today.
Lays off the high heater, and it's 2-2. Number 7 for J. Happ. The Indians go in order again. T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball, and the Angels 21-2 win over the Red Sox. There were some big crooked numbers put up by the Halos.
My goodness, 6 for 6 and 5 for 6, 11 ribbies.
Normally you would expect to see Trout and Pujols.
Yes.
Ezekiel Carrera leading off. This is his third trip to the plate. And we're in the bottom of the fourth. Up and away, 3-0.
It's one of those days today for Kluber. He's not throwing strikes.
Carrera fouled out his first time up and then laid down a sacrifice bunt in the second inning. Ball 4. That's the fourth walk issued by Corey, and that's a season high. In recognition of this 4th of July weekend, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with The Mission Continues, empowering veterans who are adjusting to life at home and finding purpose through community impact. To visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. Josh Donaldson. He was intentionally walked in the second inning. And that's a base hit. Carrera will go to third, and the Blue Jays have him at the corners with nobody out.
Donaldson now 2 for 2 on the afternoon, so he's been on all 3 times. That looked like a little cutter from Kluber, and that was he just doesn't have command of that pitch today, and they are taking advantage of it too. That is the 6th hit for Toronto. So again, you got runners at the corners and nobody out there trying to add to a 3-0 lead.
Now the last time Edwin Encarnacion was up, the bases were loaded, and Kluber struck him out on 3 pitches. And then he struck out Michael Saunders to end that inning. But it's as if that magic that he had for those 2 at-bats quickly vanished.
Well, he was away with everything in his last at-bat, and this time he's going to come inside to make him, hey, quit leaning out over that plate. Because I'm sure that's exactly what they were thinking. He's going to be looking away.
Boy, and he just painted the outside corner there, 1-1. Jabba Chamberlain is up in the Cleveland bullpen. Take another look. This looked like a pretty good pitch. It's right down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, it had played. That was a. I don't think it was high.
Now the 2-1. Now 3-1 offering. Jammed him and popped him up. Shallow left. Lindor out. And he did a good job to get out there. He falls down. Now the runner's going to try to come home, and he's going to be safe.
Well, he was not going to try and score until Lindor fell down on the play. And once he did, his looks like his feet got tangled a little bit. Coming down, he makes the play and then catches some of that turf and he goes straight down. That's when Carrera accelerated to come home and scores easily. So that'll go as a sacrifice fly for Encarnacion. So the walk comes back. They make it a 4-0 game. His 74th RBI.
Now Michael Saunders. Initially, it seemed like it was a great job to get there because I'm not sure Rajay was going to make it in to get there.
I don't think he would have. No, he was back. He was deep with Encarnacion. You know why, but it's just that he got his feet tangled out on that turf. He wasn't going to try and score.
And now a fly ball to right field, a base hit. Saunders going for 2, throws off line, and a double. And that might be it for Kluber.
Well, this is the first time in the series that you see Saunders be able to pull it, and that looked like a cutter going inside. Didn't quite get it in enough. Ball hits the turf. He will have his second double of the day, his 23rd on the season. And today's afternoon for Kluber is going to be over. One of those days. They were looking for some innings from him today, but he couldn't give the skipper much.
It's a 4-0 Toronto lead. They've got runners at second and third and 1 out. And the Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made for Java Chamberlain. We'll be right back. With the Blue Jays out to a 4-0 lead in the 4th inning, they've got second and third, 1 out, and they've knocked Corey Kluber out of the ballgame after just 3 1/3 innings. Java Chamberlain coming out for the 20th time this year. Indians will bring the infield in. Russell Martin at the plate. And as you said, you know, it's just one of those days. Kluber didn't have it. He's been on a really good run.
Yeah, 4-1 in the month of June. That cutter wasn't there. He was throwing too many balls today. He was not ahead of the hitters, and it almost looked like he was afraid to pitch the contact. He just didn't have his command.
He had a start similar to this back in Houston on May 9th when he only went 2 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, and walked 3. Today he walked 4, 1 intentional, and he's given up 3 runs on 4 runs on 7 hits. But those 2 on base are his responsibility, and now it's 2-0 to Russell Martin. Now they're just going to put him on. So rather than pitch to his former teammate once he fell behind, he just decided to put him on. And now they're loaded up for Troy Tulowitzki, who's already 2 for 2 on his bobblehead day.
Yeah, he has a chance to have a really good day on his day here.
Jaba's pitch up high, ball 1. Been a clutch performer his whole career. On the year, 13 homers and 33 driven in. Low and away, 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, that slider that he throws there, that's his go-to pitch, but he's going to have to command his fastball because good hitters aren't going to chase it, especially when they're ahead in the count. He missed with the first fastball, so to get a hitter to swing at that slider, you've got to get either a young hitter or an over-aggressive hitter.
High pop, but out of play. Back out of play. The count is 2-2.
And back into the count.
Nowhere to put him. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Hammered deep and foul. That got everybody up out of their seats. He almost juiced it.
Had a feeling he was looking for that slider down the way after 2 straight fastballs and got out on it in front a little bit and hit it deep enough, but it was foul.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Toronto up 4. And he hopes the Indians have it coming back in this game. Could rest in this at bat. The 2-2. Hit to right. Chisenhall will make the catch. Tagging coming home is Donaldson. The throw is not in time. 5-0 Blue Jays. Tulowitzki, RBI number 34.
Coming down, you see that ball go up in the air, you get back, you're going to tag up. It'll be a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Tulo. Saunders goes to third base, so now it is first and third and 2 outs, but it's a 5-0 game, and that run belongs to Kluber.
And Justin Smoke, 0 for 2, will be the batter. Off the bat, foul. In the air to left, Rajai Davis puts it away. The inning is over. But Toronto gets 2 more. They hang 5 on Corey Kluber today, and the Blue Jays are rolling. Brought to you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. By your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. And by the Cleveland Clinic. Access anytime, anywhere. Now 5-0 Toronto. And the 5th inning. We'll see Carlos Santana to the plate. The Indians have been shut down. 11 straight retired by Jay Happ since the 1-out single by Jason Kipnis in the 1st inning, and he has struck out 7. Santana drives one right center field. That's in the gap. That'll go to the wall. It'll short hop the fence, and Carlos is into second base with a leadoff double. We'll see if that gets the Indians offense sparked a little bit. Time for an in-game update. Here's Al Pawlowski. All right, thanks, Al. Here's Jose Ramirez taking down low, ball 1.
Indians, that was their second hit. Both hits have been doubles. Kipnis back in the first, and now Santana leading off the 5th here. Maybe they can come right back and answer.
It looks like it's playable, and it is. Tagging is Santana, and he'll make it to 3rd. Good heads-up base running by Carlos.
Well, you can get your Yan Gomes bobblehead. That'll be courtesy of Sports Time Ohio on Saturday. The Indians will take on the New York Yankees, plus the pregame block party. That'll be out in right field, the district, and KeyBank will be providing specials for fans all weekend as part of the KeyBank Hassle-Free Weekend. Go to Indians.com and get your tickets.
Yan Gomes looking for his first hit in the series. Right now they take a fly ball to the outfield, get something on the board. Breaking ball in for a strike, 1-1. Upstairs with it. Happ has been able to command his pitches very well today. He's had a good fastball that he's surprised hitters with at times, keeping them off balance with the breaking ball.
Yeah, that slider in. That's what I'm thinking maybe coming with now. We'll see. Another fastball away and paints it down and away.
Yan Gomes isn't so sure, but John Hirschbeck says, yep. Tracker shows probably off the plate.
Well, Hirschbeck's been known to have a wide strike zone.
The 2-2. A foul back. Runner third, 1 out here in the 5th. And he struck him out. That is number 8 for Happ. 2 down.
He just stayed right with the fastball, didn't mess around. Came back and elevated a little bit, and he gets the swing and miss outside. So Gomes could not get the runner home. 8 strikeouts now for Happ. He has not walked anybody.
Abraham Almonte fouls one right back. I'm sitting there watching this game and I'm thinking to myself, is Happ really pitching this well, or are we looking at an Indians team that maybe is kind of hit the wall a little bit right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, he's throwing the ball well. He is, and I think exhaustion is playing a part, but I just don't think it's going to be today. That 19-inning game can have some effects for, I'd say 3, 4, 5 days. The way this has gone, because you've got guys that have been playing every day, and there's no off days till All-Star break, so they've still got to get through a homestand with 5 more or 6 more games to go.
And as Terry Francona said, hey, the schedule's laid out there. You've got to find a way to.
Right. Yeah, don't take anything away from Happ. He's throwing the ball very well.
Almonte smoked it.
On the other hand, you look at Kluber, and Kluber looked like he played 19 innings the other night the way he pitched today, and he's been ready to go. They needed a big start from him today, and they didn't get it. He went one of his shortest starts of the year, second shortest. So he wasn't executing, but Happ is.
Outside with a slow hook. And it's 2-2. Abraham Almonte making his season debut here this afternoon. As Andre told us earlier, there's encouraging news with regards to Michael Brantley, but still nothing firm or nothing where you can say, well, maybe a week, 2 weeks. He's eligible to come off the disabled list on July the 9th, but at some point there's going to have to be a rehab assignment. He's going to need some games, but that's still down the road. 2-2. Low and a good eye to lay off. That's a tough pitch the way he's been throwing today. Full count. Grounders at third. Donaldson. Leadoff double, and the Indians can't get him home. Well, baseball's All-Star Game is right around the corner. Comes your way Tuesday, July 12th, only on Fox. All the biggest stars in the game will be on display from Petco Park in San Diego. You can also stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Junior Lake, Darwin Barney, Ezekiel Carrera due for the Blue Jays here in the 5th. Jabba Chamberlain got the final 2 outs on the 4th. He'll stay on to pitch here in the 5th. Blow it away. 2-0. The Indians began the day with a 6-game lead in the American League Central Division over Kansas City. Detroit was 6.5 off the pace. Tigers will come to town tomorrow. And then Chicago, a game over 500, 8.5 back. In the East, Baltimore started the day with a 4-game lead over Boston, who was bludgeoned by the Angels yesterday. Toronto then 4.5 back. And then the Yankees I don't know, still hard to get a read on where they're at this year. They're 2 games under 500. I guess you could say they're still in it. They're only 8 games out, but they just don't seem to be built to make a run.
Well,
not the way they've played.
They haven't made
point.
one yet, at least to this point, where you go on straight.
Line to Kipnis, 1 away. Out in the West, Texas has opened up an 8.5 game lead over Houston, but the Astros have charged. Seattle 9.5 game backs. Houston's the interesting team to watch out west. In the East, though, you know, Rick, it's still a 3-team race, and 2 of those teams could be looking at a wild card. Same situation here. Texas, I mean, it's going to take a monumental collapse for them to fall out of it, but Houston and Seattle, they're still in the buyer's mode as far as maybe a wild card
Houston
position.
has really turned it around, though, in the last month or so.
What's really interesting to see how it plays out. Oh my, the throw pulled him off the bag, and he's safe at first. Looked like just a kind of a run-of-the-mill play for Jason Kipnis, but he'll be charged with an error when his throw pulled Santana off the base. Let's take another look.
Yeah, that's just a routine play. He gets down there and throws it from the side, pulls Santana off the base, and he's not able to get back there. That's just, hey, again,
one of those days.
It's got to be exhaustion. Not making excuses, but that's just a routine play, and you can see him shaking his head.
Well, the physical, as you said, we talked about this before, the physical starts to affect the mental. You know, you talk about concentration. Well, that concentration maybe not quite where it needs to be, just because the fatigue factor is hanging over your head. Runner goes, big jump, throw down by Gomes, and they still got him, I believe.
Nice throw. Good throw.
Beautiful throw by Gomes.
You know, and again, don't forget, originally Kipnis was not going to be in the lineup today. You know, so he could have used the day off, and they tried to get it to him. There's the jump, but no siree. Gomes with a nice throw.
And so 2 down for Ezequiel Carrera. But getting back to the point about where all these teams are sitting right now as we approach the All-Star break and then a couple of weeks to the trading deadline. You know, if you're Houston, if you're Seattle, are you willing to maybe make a big move or trade prospects if really all you're playing for is that 1-game playoff scenario? Kansas City, Detroit.
That would be tough to do for me if I'm in that driver's seat and you're looking to hopefully make the playoffs to really pull off something major, unless it really fits into your plans for the future, not just this year.
You might make a move that helps your club, but it's not going to be a, well, we're really kind of rolling the dice
Tough
with
to
this
go
trade.
all in on something like that when you're playing for maybe a wild card spot.
Yeah,
because
Texas,
like I say, we always talk about it, and everybody talks about the trading deadline, this and that. How many really do help, you know, when it's all said and done?
Well, usually, and I'm just throwing this out here, usually if you're in first place, you've got a pretty good team, and you're not looking to add maybe a huge piece to the puzzle, just maybe a complementary addition. But this is an Indians team that's a little bit different in that one of their best players, if not their best player, hasn't been there all season long, and you're not sure if he'll be able to return and contribute. Right. So that's a big piece of the puzzle that's been missing all season long. So there may be in a little different position than a lot of other teams historically have been as we approach that trade deadline. Pulled foul. I mean, think of it like this, Rick. Think if the Yankees, and I know it's not a good example because they're the Yankees, they can pretty much do whatever they want financially, but if you're missing Derek Jeter during their run for most of the year, you're going to go out and try and replace him, find somebody that can pick up that slack that you're missing.
Yeah, as an everyday player, yeah, you would certainly try and fill that void.
Here's the payoff pitch. And Carrera fouls it back. But look, it's easier for us amateur GMs to sit up here and say they've got to do this, they've got to do that. Here's who we think they should go trade for. But that's fantasy. The reality is it's a lot more difficult to just go out and
yeah, the reality is players have no trade clauses. Some have cities that they can't get traded to, and they have to approve it. There's a lot that goes into it that nobody, and including us, don't know a whole lot about.
He walks him. 2-out base runner, and not to mention there are other teams competing for that same guy, and they a lot of times it comes down to, well, is that your best offer? Because we think we have a better offer somewhere else. Josh Donaldson, couple of base hits, couple of runs scored today. And then you also hear sometimes the notion that if a team doesn't make a trade, do the players feel like, well, the front office doesn't believe in us? Yeah.
Well, no, I don't think so. If they can do something to help, they certainly will. I would think for the most part. You know, it's not like, hey, we're trying to turn our back on our players and not help them out. It's, you know, just sometimes it doesn't work out. This isn't like Stratomatic and you can just do whatever you want to do. This is real world, man.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because think back to when the Indians were trying to do everything they could and they swung the trade for John Rocker. You know, that kind of upset the apple cart a little bit, because his personality, it didn't really mesh with the guys that they had there at the time.
No, it created more friction than anything.
Not that his personality was going to mesh anywhere, but that has to be taken into consideration, which is, okay, this is the chemistry you've built. This is what you've created. Will player X fit into what we have here, or could it be counterproductive? You know, all of those things have to be considered, because you're right. They're not just guys on bubblegum cards. They're real life human beings.
Yeah.
Donaldson takes inside 3-1. Tom Gorzolani is up in the Cleveland bullpen. The left-hander getting loose. And he walked back-to-back hitters now. In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. In the first, Russell Martin hit a 3-run homer with 2 outs, and that set the tone. In the fourth inning, a goofy play resulted in a sac fly when Lindor just kind of got his feet tangled up. Another sac fly made it 5-0 in the same inning, and all 5 runs charged to Corey Kluber in 3 1/3 innings of work. Jabba Chamberlain looked like he was going to breeze through this 5th inning, but then he's walked the 2 hitters after he had 2 outs, and now he's got to face Edwin Encarnacion.
Well, yeah, when you walk that leadoff guy Carrera, who's now walked what, 8 times in this series, then you have to deal with trouble with Donaldson hitting second. So they have walked 7 times today as a team, and only 1 has come around to score. So they're lucky so far as that goes.
Yeah, again, really uncharacteristic of this pitching staff that has been so good of late with all these walks. To center field, Almonte makes the catch, and the Blue Jays strand a pair. 5 complete from the Rogers Center. 5-0 Toronto.
Access to Tribe Rewards, and today's Tribe Reward TV code is Baerga. You can visit Indians.com season tickets for the complete details.
Lonnie Chisenhall struck out his only time up. The Blue Jays have sent at least 5 men to the plate in every inning here today. So Jay Happ, he's had some sitting to do and some waiting around, but it hasn't affected his ability to come out and throw strikes one bit.
Nope, it has not. He's been very aggressive. He's been able to locate his fastball. And, the Indians, that's strikeout number 9. And the Indians were 1 for 9 the first time through the lineup with 4 strikeouts. They were 1 for 9 the second time through the lineup with 5 strikeouts.
Somebody's got Joe Carter's jersey hanging in remembrance here in one of the hotel rooms out there.
Again, checking it from their hotel room.
Joe Carter, a former Indian but a national hero here in Toronto. Was that the '93?
Yes.
World Series he ended with the home run?
Yes, it was. Now does some work with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Back-to-back world champs.
Had a chance to see Robbie Alomar here today too.
His number 12 hangs in the rafters here at the Rogers Center. Hall of Fame inductee, world champion with these Blue Jays twice. He was one of those guys as a ball player who could do everything. Steal you base, play unbelievable defense, hit for average, hit you a home run.
Could bunt. He could do it all. Yeah, absolutely right.
He was a 5-tool player who truly had all 5.
There's not many of them around.
No, those are pretty special.
Those are the superstars, no question.
High pop. Barney, the second baseman, called off by Junior Lake. 2 down. Andre.
You know, it's interesting hearing you guys talk about Robbie Alomar, because when you talk to Lindor here with the Cleveland Indians, he talks about all those same things and about trying to bring everything that Roberto Alomar brought to the Blue Jays and those teams. He always talks about growing up in Puerto Rico, and he said, you'd watch this guy play, and he said, I was amazed that he could bunt, that he could hit from both sides, that he could do all the things that he's done. He goes, and when I get to meet him and Sandy brings him around, he goes, I turn into a little 5-year-old all over again, remembering him. You know what he goes, I become a fan, and he goes, I want to ask him, how did you do this, or what made you bunt when you were hitting third? It's amazing to watch someone like Frankie around someone like Roberto Alomar.
Well, you're around, you watch him growing up, and sure, you idolize somebody like that.
Popped him up, foul. No, it's going to stay fair. And Tulowitzki makes the catch and almost took out Michael Saunders in the process. And he's looked like he's a little upset with Saunders. Like, stay out of my way. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians again. 4 times in 6 innings they've gone in order.
Tomorrow, back at Progressive Field against the Tigers. Alan Jensen. Get your holiday telecast started on Indians Live. That'll take place at 6:30, followed by the first pitch. With us here at 7, Sports Time Ohio, or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Swing into summer is presented by Miller Lite. And Tom Gorzolani coming on for the Indians now here in the 6th inning. Entering a 5-0 game. Gorzolani has pitched just 1/3 of an inning in this series so far.
Michael Saunders, couple of hits, 2 doubles. In the air, foul, and just out of play.
Yeah, Saunders leads this Toronto ball club in doubles. He has 23 on the year. 3 in the series, 2 today.
You know, that play that ended the inning, Rick, usually that's, you know, if the outfielder calls for it, it's his ball.
Right.
But
if he calls him off.
Tulowitzki looked upset, as though maybe Saunders never called for it and still almost ran into him.
That's what I'm guessing. You know, normally if you don't hear something, that's why you continue to go out it. And as an infielder, once you hear something, you peel off and let him catch it.
Right.
So that would be my guess. He didn't hear anything.
Guy with the Hawaiian shirt got the ball.
Hook him, Dano.
Inside, he missed 2-2. Way outside, full count. Russell Martin waits next. Are there times where, as an outfielder, you're coming in on a ball, you don't know if you can get there, so you don't call for it, and that causes problems?
Yeah, that's true. There's some times that exactly happens, Larry. Let's see. He may have said, "I got it." It looked like he might have called for it, but it might have been late. See, there's Tulowitzki calling for it, and he's going in, and Saunders is just trying to. He didn't hear him.
And I also noticed on the first angle we showed, Tulowitzki was waving with his hand. Well, not that.
Well, when you're looking up, sometimes you won't see the wave as an outfielder coming in. That's why the communication. And when you call for it, you have to call for it more than once. You've got to really let him know. And I don't think Saunders did that. You know, he might have called right at the last minute, "I got it," and it was just a little too late for Tulowitzki because he felt like he was there. And it's, by the way, it's his bobblehead day, so leave him alone. He's got to catch it.
Russell Martin, his 3-run homer in the first, did a lot of damage. That's popped up foul, out of play. Just missed inside. And that is ball 4. Wow. It's contagious, Arch.
Yeah, it is. There's 9 walks now. It just seems like, I don't know what it is, but they're afraid to pitch to contact here today for whatever reason.
Now Troy Tulowitzki coming to the plate. He's already 2 for 2 with an RBI. Drove in a run with a sac fly his last time up. You'll notice on Troy Tulowitzki's wrist, he's got the wristband with the letters that spell out T-A-Z. Taz. And Tulowitzki and his wife welcomed a son into the world 2 years ago, and he got to choose the name. He chose Taz.
Did he? I thought he was talking about Andre, but Taz, I didn't.
Actually, I met little Taz today. I almost took a picture and sent it to you. He got here and he was happy to get his dad's bobblehead, and he's got his Tulo jersey on today, but it says Taz on it.
Okay.
If I was small enough, I'd have put it on for you. So I'm gonna have to get me a jersey when I get home and put it on there for you, Rick.
All right, you got it. I want to see that. What's your number?
We'll keep that a secret for now.
Well, Troy says, you know, when I was a kid, you remember you're growing up in school, you have to write your name on it. He said, writing Tulowitzki out is not easy. So he said, I wanted my son to have a short name. So he chose Taz. I like it. Yeah, it's also kind of cool that he wears his son's name on his wristband.
Well, he has had a chance to have a big day. You remember his last at bat, he had a sacrifice fly, but he did hit a ball out of here foul with the bases loaded.
I just can't believe that his wife said okay.
Yeah, I know.
I know I said you get to choose.
Maybe she misunderstood.
But how about we make this a best 2 out of 3? Now the 1-2. Down and in. Gomes with a good scoop.
Well, Gorzelani already 17 pitches and still nobody out. 10 balls, 7 strikes.
Well, they got a good pitchers duel going down in St. Pete. Tampa leads the Tigers 1-0 in the 7th inning. Gorzelani's thrown 18 pitches, but only 7 of them have been strikes. And Justin Smoke waits on deck. Goodbye. He hammered it. Troy Tulowitzki can bobble his head all the way around the bases. He's 3 for 3 with 4 runs batted in on the day.
The second 3-run home run of the day for the Blue Jays. One in the first inning, run in the 6th, and this one was no doubt. And that brings the crowd to life on Tulowitzki bobblehead day. Had to go in and throw him a strike, and maybe that's why I didn't want to throw any before that. That is number 14 for Tulowitzki.
And now Smokes smashes one to short. Nice play by Lindor. One away. Junior Lake is 0 for 2 with a walk. 8-0 Toronto. You know, I was just thinking, as I'm trying to think of anything other than the beating the Indians are taking right now at 8-0. But you remember that story? I think it was a couple of years ago in Tulowitzki. They had a giveaway in Colorado, and they misspelled his name on the jersey giveaway.
Yeah, I do.
You can understand how that could happen. There's a lot of letters on that last name, but there was, I think the T was missing from the jersey. And they said, oh, well, rather than disappoint everybody, we'll give them away and we'll exchange them for the correct spelling at a later date.
I don't know how that popped up in your mind, but I do remember it now that you bring it, once you bring it back again.
Well, I was thinking about it because I'm looking at Gorzelani's last name. It's not quite Tulowitzki, but there's a lot of letters on the back of that jersey as well. We were talking just a few days ago about how Terry Francona, I think we were in Atlanta, and he was trying to get the bullpen some work because the starters had done so well and they'd logged so many innings that the bullpen had gone, guys had gone over a week without pitching. And then all it took was one 19-inning game to just throw everything off track.
Boy.
That's 3 walks in the inning for Gorzelani.
Walks in the inning, and Callaway's got to come out. And you need some help from some of these guys that haven't pitched in the bullpen, where to log some innings and they're not even, you know, pitching to contact. Hey, it's one thing if they hit you out of the ball game, but you don't walk yourself out of the ball game.
And you know they're trying. You know, it's not like they're going out there saying, I'm going to walk this guy, but it just, as I said, it almost seems to be contagious. They've issued 10 walks. Kluber walked 4, Jabba 3, and now Gorzelani's walked 3.
The most that they have walked this year. Let me see here. Well, extra innings, they've walked 12. That was in Houston, May 11th in the 16-inning game. And in a 9-inning game, it's 8.
Base hit to right field by Darwin Barney. His first hit today. Well, for Tom Gorzelani, he knows he's got to suck it up right here because there is nobody throwing in the bullpen. And with 1 out, the 7th man to bat in the inning is Ezekiel Carrera. A little bit high, ball 1. And we're just now going to get somebody else up in the Cleveland pen, and Tommy Hunter. On the outside corner for a strike. Carrera taking, it's in for a strike, 1-2. Smashed by Santana. Junior Lake coming around third. He's going to score. On his way to third is Barney. And it's a 4-run sixth for Toronto as they extend their lead to 9-0.
Already the 5th plate appearance here for Carrera. Gets his first hit. His 9th RBI. And they are just circling the bases now. They had a 3-run first, a 2-run fourth, and now a 4-run sixth. Still just 1 out.
And the 8th man to bat in the inning is Josh Donaldson. Way outside, 1-1. Base hit right field. Barney scores, 10-0 Toronto. Edwin Encarnacion will be the 9th man to bat in the inning.
Just a fastball away, and Donaldson stayed on it, hit it to right field. So Gorzolani's afternoon was short-lived, but faced 8 hitters and only got 1 out. And they have 5 runs in. Still runners at first and second.
He gave up 4 hits, walked 3, and he departs with the Indians down 10. in the 6th inning. The new pitcher is Tommy Hunter, making his 19th appearance this year. Indians have also made a couple of defensive moves. Jason Kipnis has left the game. Jose Ramirez goes from third over to second base, and Chris Jimenez is now in the ball game at third. And Edwin Encarnacion 0 for 3 with an RBI that came on a sac pop-up in the 4th is at the plate. Hammered, fair, corner. Herrera scores. Donaldson stops at third, an RBI double for Encarnacion.
Well, this one went down. Would it get stuck in the fence or bounce over? Going to see the guy get out of the way. Oh, it bounced into the seats. Ground rule double. So this is a 6-run inning to this point, and they still have second and third, and there's still just one out. This is turning into a round of batting practice right now.
Saunders with a bouncing ball in the hole. Donaldson scores. Encarnacion was stopped at third by Luis Rivera.
Well, for the first 2 days we were in here, they held them to 2 runs in the first 2 games, 28 innings. They are taking it out on Indians pitching right now, and they have all day long. 12-0 ball game. Saunders gets his 3rd hit, his first RBI. And that closes the book. All those are belong to Gorzolani now. 7 of them.
Ooh. That'll put a hurting on your ERA. Down on the dirt. Up the middle, another hit. Encarnacion scores 13-0. Saunders stopping at second, and this has just completely gotten out of control. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Earlier this inning, Troy Tulowitzki came to the plate with 2 on and clobbered a 3-run homer. Now he's got a chance to do it again.
Man, oh man. I'm telling you, that one time when he had the sacrifice fly, he hit a ball out here. Would have been a grand slam, but it was foul.
They have 7 hits in the inning.
Seven hits and 3 walks.
Isn't it funny though how innings like this do tend to happen, where every ball hit finds a hole. Every ball is either smoked or just, you know, you could go through a couple of days like they did in the first 2 games of the series. They scored 2 runs in 27 innings.
Right.
And now they have 1 inning where it's almost like they can't make it out.
Yeah, like I said, this inning's turning into a batting practice round for him. Sometimes that happens. You just have to sit and watch it. You hope they hit it at somebody sooner or later.
If this was a football game and you got a big lead and you're on offense, you take the air out of the ball and you just run it, try to run out the clock. But in baseball, they can't wait to get to the plate. Each guy in that dugout,
yeah,
you know, you smell a rally like this, you want to be part of it. You want to get a hit.
Yeah, you're not the one that wants to make an out.
Popped him up. Santana into foul territory. 2 down. And we'll bring up Justin Smoke, who is the only Blue Jays hitter in the lineup who hasn't scored a run today. He has struck out, popped up, flied out, grounded out. Two on, now 2 out. And a strike called. In the dirt, strikes him out, ends the inning. The Blue Jays bludgeon the Indians with an 8 spot here in the 6th. To you by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partner of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. By Ford, built Ford tough. And by Key Bank. Use the red key. Member FDIC. Do not adjust your television set. The score on your screen is correct. Here in the 7th inning, Francisco Lindor will lead it off. Jay Happ, meanwhile, spinning a 2-hit shutout, has fanned 9. And just keeps chucking strikes.
Yeah, he's done that every inning. They've had some long innings today, and he comes right back out pumping strikes.
by the mound. Scooped by Tulowitzki, and he throws him out.
Well, Happ has been just on cruise control today. He's given up 2 hits, both of them doubles, but the first time through 1 for 9. He had 4 strikeouts. The second time through 1 for 9 with 5 strikeouts. And now he's working his way through the lineup for the 3rd time, and they're 0 for 3 to this point. So he's had command of everything. Little slider, changeup, good fastball. Hasn't walked anybody.
As good as he has been in our nation's capital today, Steven Strasburg's been even better. 6 no-hit innings under his belt against the Cincinnati Reds.
And that's after just coming off the disabled list, right?
And the Nationals lead 9-0. Knapp cuts and misses. And Napoli erased. 10 strikeouts for Jay Happ, 2 down in the 7th. And look, you know, we were talking about sometimes you just plumb have a bad day. It can happen even to the Chicago Cubs, who've been running away with the NL Central. They're getting abused by the Mets today, 13-1.
The Mets going for the sweep in that series as well.
Yeah. Low and away. Carlos Santana doubled his last time up. Ground ball up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. And Santana is 2 for 3 today.
Well, this one squeaks through, so right up the middle. Tulowitzki's going to dive for it. He gets under his glove. Santana's 2 for 3. The Indians, their 3rd hit.
Jose Ramirez 0 for 2. Upstairs. There's a ball hit to right center. Santana will go to 3rd. And Indians at the corners with 2 down after Jose Ramirez collects his 7th hit in the series.
Oh, there you go. He stayed on it. That ball, fastball away, hit it right where it was pitched. Got that foot down out in front and follows through. Nice swing. So the first time they've had 2 base runners in an inning.
Fouled right back. So the Indians are getting clobbered today. The Cubs are getting clobbered today. Yesterday it was Texas who got beat up by Minnesota 17-5. You almost get the feeling some of these teams have been playing so good. They kind of look out in the distance. They see the All-Star break. It's almost there, and all three of those teams have been handed a big smack in the face with a week to go before that 4-day break. And Minnesota, by the way, leading Texas again today, 3-2, close ball game. And J Happ's 2-1 pitch. A little low, 3-1. Big holiday crowd has watched a offensive onslaught today, and now Yan Gomes ropes a base hit into left field to get the Indians on the board. Santana scores, Ramirez to third. 3 straight 2-out hits in the inning for Cleveland.
Gomes got the count in his favor, and then says, okay, come on, I want a fastball. He gets it and gets a base hit, so the Indians are on the board here in the 7th inning, and with 3 2-out base hits.
Almost looked like when Pete Walker left the mound, John Hirschbeck met him at the third baseline as if to say, really? It's 13-1. I don't think you need a trip to the mound here.
Well, he's probably right, unless they want that bullpen. He was up, I think somebody was up throwing already.
Yeah. They've got a reliever ready. And this will be the 100th pitch of the day for Happ. Abraham Almonte in his first game of the year. Struck out in the 3rd, grounded out in the 5th. Remember his first game with the Indians last August. 4 for 5, a homer, 2 doubles, scored 3 runs. Got him looking. The 11th strikeout for J Happ. The only thing went bad today for him was the shutout was spoiled for him in the 7th. 7th, but Chris Jimenez is coming on to make his second major league pitching appearances. He was at third base last inning. Now he's in the game pitching. So Lonnie Chisenhall has gone from right field to third base, and Tyler Naquin is now in right field. My guess is Chris Jimenez volunteered and said, I'll try to take one for the team here and save that bullpen.
Yeah, we're seeing the impact of that 19-inning game.
We saw this in the 19-inning game with Toronto. Rather than go to a starting pitcher,
right,
they used 2 position players, and one of them ended up on the disabled list.
Exactly, the very next day.
Ryan Goins. Well, here's Jimenez. We'll see what he can do. And he's just trying to chuck it in there.
There you go.
He's not going to try and blow up the radar gun and impress anybody. He's just trying to throw it over the plate and hope they hit it at somebody. Andre's got a bird's eye view.
No, you guys are exactly right. I talked to him about an inning ago when he started warming up back. I said, don't get hurt. And he goes, don't worry. I'm not going. He goes, I'm throwing about 65. I'm just going to do my job and get us out of this thing.
Normally, when a position player comes in to pitch, it's in this type of a game. I think they had it in Boston yesterday. Rajay with a spinning pirouette catch just shy of the warning track for out number 1. The rare exception is what we saw the other night when you had 2 position players pitch in a 1-1 ball game. That's a fantastic play.
Yeah, dude, you play deep and you let them hit it. Maybe they'll hit it at them, and they did right there. As we tell them, trust your stuff, Chris. Don't worry, trust your stuff. Look at that.
Fly ball, center field, big yard.
Yeah, 5 pitches, 2 outs.
Now Friday, remember, this is a 1-1 ball game. And Ryan Goins got a double play. But he hurt his arm in the middle of that inning. And then Carlos Santana won it with the home run off Darwin Barney. Bullseye strike to Ezekiel Carrera. Bullseye. Oh, he ramped up there up to 81.
Yeah, but as a hitter here in this situation, swing the bat. What's he trying to walk again?
He swings it, pops it up.
Way to go. 9 pitches, 3 outs.
How do you like that? Chris Jimenez authors the first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon for the Indians pitching staff.
Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Eighth inning here in Toronto. And a new pitcher for the Blue Jays. Right-hander Drew Storen on for the 35th time this year. J-Happ went 7. Allowed 1 run on 5 hits. Did not walk a batter and struck out 11. Outside ball 1. Minnesota's added to their lead 4-2 over Texas. Lonnie pops it up. Shallow right center field. And Junior Lake, the right fielder, grabs it. Check out Jimmy Hanlon, our PGA pro in the Golf Zone tonight. He's got tips for your game, and he'll talk about the Bridgestone Invitational at Firestone. Inside the Golf Zone with Jimmy, presented by American Eagle Mortgage and Varmint Guard tonight at 8 on Fox Sports Ohio. Rajai Davis 0 for 3 today. Tulowitzki throws him out, 2 down. You know, we've sung the praises, sang the praises of Rajai Davis quite a bit this year for what he's brought to this club. But
right,
I just want to point out one more example of what a true pro this guy is. That last inning, that's a play in a 13-1 game. Maybe you just turn, okay, I'm going to play it off the wall. He went back, spun in the air, made a great catch on that ball. Yes. That just tells you he comes, he brings it every day when he's in the lineup. Got to admire that.
Yeah, these games right here, the laughers, they're no fun, but they come about throughout the course of the year on both ends. You know, you're going to beat somebody like that, and someone's going to beat you.
Oh yeah.
And you know, sometimes they're tough games to play in, but
well, we just talked about it. Even the Cubs, and everybody's like, oh, the Cubs are unstoppable, they're unbeatable.
Right. It happens to everybody.
They're getting their pants beat off today.
Absolutely.
It happens.
Throughout the course of 162 games, you're going to have some clunkers.
Gosh, Rick, remember the year we went into Yankee Stadium? And
oh boy,
Indians didn't have a great club that year, but 22-0?
That was the first game they ever played in the new Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that one, but I'm talking about the old one. In the old stadium in 04, 22-0. It was the worst beating the Yankees had ever had in their home park. That's when Omar almost had 6 hits.
7 hits. He had 6, right?
Was it 6?
He had 6. He almost had 7.
Right. Jimenez out looking. 1, 2, 3 go the Indians here in the 8th. about Rogers Center is when they played "Hooked on a Feeling" by Blue Suede in the 8th inning. That's pretty
like
solid
that?
right there. Yeah. That is
well, you've got it for 4 straight days.
Classic, yeah. Chris Jimenez trying to give the Indians one more inning of good relief work. Josh Donaldson swings and lines it off the top of the wall, but it doesn't go out. He'll have a double, but he just missed hitting a home run. I mean, it hit the very top of the fence.
That's his 4th hit today. You're right. I mean, another inch, and that thing's out of here. And it was a line drive, and he swings at that first pitch. You'll see it hit and come straight back. How about that?
You're almost sitting to yourself, how did that not go out?
I know, especially as hard as it was hit. It just had to hit it perfectly to come back straight. Unless that went over, but
no,
I guess not.
You hope. Wow, into the crowd. Look out.
Yeah, sometimes you get out there when you're in position, but I think the slower the better. For some of these guys, they're trying to generate it and they're trying to hit it as far as they can. Like that. The slower away, the better.
Jan goes to the dugout. Oh, off the edge of the mitt. Otherwise, they'd have had a big out right there. But Gomes is on the dead run. It's hard to sprint and then just stop on a dime. Otherwise, he'd have flipped over the railing.
I mean, he had a long way to go. He's picking up where he is located right now. And he wanted it.
And that is roped fair. And Donaldson will score. And Encarnacion in with a double. And it is 14-1. Here is Michael Saunders. I'd say that was a changeup, but I think it's just.
That's a heater.
Just is
lack
what
of velocity.
It is. Yeah. Here's a 2-1. And it's out of play. Although he is varying it from time to time. He'll get anywhere from 80 to 70. In the air, center field, Almonte. One away. Encarnacion tags and goes to third. Our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game was in the first inning. And Russell Martin, with 2 outs and 2 aboard, hit a 3-run homer. And it set the tone. And the Blue Jays never look back today. Martin takes a strike. Even Jimenez looked this like, come on. You're not going to give me that? So much for the umpire having the catcher's back. Once you go on the mound, you're no longer a catcher in his eyes, I guess.
No, you're out of the fraternity. You're thrown out. You don't have the gear on, forget about it.
Well, guys, as you guys talk about that, there's been a lot of conversation about umpiring behind the plate this weekend after the first game.
You're not kidding.
And with all the rankings that these umpires get, a lot of people talk about, and I heard Buck Martinez and Tito talk about this yesterday. He said it used to be when a game got out of hand like this, umpire would open up the outside of the plate a little bit to get the game going. Well, you can't do that anymore because they're graded, and they're worried about their grades, and that's why you're in a situation we're kind of in right now a little bit.
Well, you know what? We've all flunked a class every now and then, so don't be afraid to widen the zone.
We know about you.
To right field, Naquin can't get there. And the Blue Jays get another run. That'll bring up Troy Tulowitzki.
It's called have a feeling of what's going on.
I mean, in a situation like this, if I'm a player, I would expect to hear the umpire say, if it's close, swing. Because you know.
That, and also, if you're a hitter in a type of game like this, you don't sit up there and take. You swing the bat. You know, if it's a strike, why are you taking? What are you waiting for? One of your best pitches? The game's out of reach. It's out of control. Swing it.
He just jammed himself and fouled it back. 0-2. Well, to Chris's credit, he's gone out there. He's been under control. He's not trying to overthrow or do anything, get himself hurt. Now the 2-strike pitch. Popped him up. And Ramirez makes the catch. 2 down. I think he thought there were 3 outs, but Justin Smoak will be the batter. Smoak is 0 for 5. He's the guy that his invitation got lost in the mail.
Yeah. Yeah, he made 2 outs in that 8-run 6th inning.
Yeah, the first and the last. Pulls it foul. Oh boy, that is long gone. Well, you can chalk it up to one of those days. You can say anything you want. But the way the Blue Jays have just teed off here, I think that's going to leave a bit of a mark. I don't think they'll forget about this.
Well, you've got a position player going 2 innings. That's unbelievable.
And a ground ball to Ramirez. And the inning is over. 3 outs to go in Toronto. Well, thanks, Al. Jensen, well said about the 8-2 mark on the road trip. Mission accomplished. Today's just one of those games where you chalk it up to Mom always said there'd be days like this. Aaron Loop facing Lindor, Napoli, and Santana here in the ninth. Will be good to get home, especially tomorrow being the 4th of July, big celebration, and a sold-out crowd awaits the Indians, the first place Central Division leading Tribe, when they take on the Tigers. If you don't have a ticket, we'll have it for you tomorrow night right here on Sports Time Ohio. Alan Jensen will kick it off at 6:30 with Indians Live. There's another strikeout for the Blue Jay pitching. That is 13 on the afternoon. Recapping the keys to the game, courtesy of Mazda.
Well, it's one of those days. Jimenez gave the bullpen a break. Of anybody, none of the pitchers did.
Jabba Chamberlain was the only one that went unscored on today, but I don't know how he did it. He walked a couple, had to get out of some serious soup, but he did pitch an inning in 2/3 of scoreless, but even he walked 3, 1 intentional. The walks today were just crazy. 10 walks.
Yep.
Gave him a shave up and in.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to see now. Getting hit by a pitch in a game like this.
Two and two. The crowd.
Got a piece to stay alive.
Tyler Naquin lifts one into right field. Junior Lake will make the running catch. 2 down. Well, it looks like the Detroit Tigers are going to pick up a full game in the standings, and they're going to go ahead of Kansas City. They're going to move into second place. Tigers lead the Tampa Bay Rays 5-1 in the ninth. And the Royals are losing 7-2 to the Phillies in the ninth inning.
And for Detroit, that'll be their 6th win in a row.
Yeah.
So they'll be coming in, and maybe that's what the Indians need. Bring those Tigers on.
Well, that'll be the storyline tomorrow. The Indians 9-0 against Detroit this year. Remember when we went into Detroit to start this road trip, the Tigers felt like, hey, this is our time. We're playing well. We're ready for this matchup.
Right.
And the Indians tattooed them. It'll be a different Progressive Field than what the Tigers are used to.
Yes, it will be sold out tomorrow.
Yeah, rocking house tomorrow night. And that'll buoy the spirits of a club that took one on the chin today. They'll be able to forget about this quickly. The 2-1. Strike called. Santana with 2 hits on the afternoon. And that'll do it. An ugly finish to the road trip, but what a road trip it was as we saw history made along the way. The Indians go 8-2 on the 10-game trip, and they'll return home atop the American League Central Division standings to take on the Tigers on the 4th of July at Progressive Field. Final today, Toronto 17, Cleveland 1. We'll be back with some final words right after this.